Morning, September the 5th. Starting my day this morning at 7 o'clock. Pretty easy trip. I got a load going from here in Richmond up to Connecticut. It's pretty easy. And basically I got a fresh clock. That's all my time right there. Unfortunately, my Qualcomm broke down and I had to come into our Richmond terminal to get it replaced. So it took a lot of time, and unfortunately I ended up with a reset. But that's what happens in trucking, you know. You win some, you lose some. But my first stop is right here in town, just a few miles away, and then up to, like I said, Connecticut for delivery tomorrow. So that's what's going on. Stick with me and I'll show you how I do it. Alright, I've got to my delivery. Put a little on-duty time there, because you got to show on-duty delivery. Then I went right in a sleeper berth, because they were going to come out and bring me my paperwork when they were all done unloading. So I was able to save a lot of time that way, and now I'm heading on up to Connecticut. It ought to be fun, going through DC, Baltimore, New York City. Well, I'm making a pit stop here in Ruther Glen, Virginia at the Flying J. Don't normally like to stop like this, but the vending machine in Richmond, Virginia didn't work, and I'm hungry. Could also use some coffee. But I don't usually like to stop, because this is going to cost me at least 10 to 15 minutes of unpaid time lost, which kind of sucks, but oh well. It is what it is, right? Oh, I said it.
Say a command.
Ooh, doggy. They have a golden corral at this Flying J, and I'll belly up and put a hurtin' on it. They had these delicious freaking pork chops, man. They were so tasty. I swear I was going to eat some fruit. I ended up just eating pork chops, and I pretty much killed an hour. It was only going to be like a 10-minute stop, but oh, it was good. Definitely worth stopping. I normally don't stop here, because this is where all the Florida trucks go, and there's never any parking here, so I always avoid this area. We have Richmond Terminal down there, so I blow in there when I need to take a break. So here we go. I got a fuel stop in Paulsboro, New Jersey at the TA, so that'll probably be next. Just taking a little pit stop in Laurel, Maryland at the rest area. The old coffee's going right through me. Doing good on time. No traffic. Well, I thought my fuel stop was in Paulsboro at TA, but it turned out it was in the TA in Bloomsbury, New Jersey, which is, if you don't know, that's way out there on Interstate 78 between Pennsylvania and New Jersey. So I'm going to take this opportunity. I was going to talk about it later, but this is a really good tip. Always verify that your fuel stop is on the way. This fuel system that Swift uses is really freaking out of date, and it's been around. I think the first time I saw it was in 1996, and it hasn't changed since. I mean, talk about out of date. So I ended up getting a new fuel stop,
60 seconds.
and it's Petro, the Petro in oh God, where are we? Bordertown, New Jersey. So definitely always watch your fuel stops. I mean, don't go to them faithfully because you don't get paid extra for going out of the route of A and B. That's you get paid to go the shortest distance. That's it. So watch that. All right, time to go through New York City. Wish me luck. Well, I'm done for the day. The 95 in Connecticut is all backed up from exit 3 all the way to exit 48. Good 50 miles. So my delivery was exit 41 or something, and I thought I'd try to get to the rest areas there in Connecticut, but with that much traffic, you know, drivers are going to end up pulling in there, and I just know I'll have a hell of a time trying to find a parking spot. One of the problems of being a trucker sometimes is finding a parking spot. So the Cross Bronx was all backed up from end to end, and the New England Thruway was pretty messed up. So once I got over the GW Bridge, I took the corkscrew down to the Major Deegan. This is one of those routes that I told you that nobody ever takes because their GPS always says to go on the Cross Bronx to the New England Thruway. But if you actually go down to the Major Deegan, go north, Major Deegan is Interstate 87, and you take that up to the Cross Westchester Expressway, or 287, take that east, that is only 24.5 miles. Where if you went the Cross Bronx New England Thruway, that's 23.2. So nobody takes this route. This is one of those ones I'm telling you about. I mean, there's hardly any ever trucks on it. So, and it has this rest area that I'm at. I'm just slightly north of Yonkers. Then there's a rest area with Burger King and Popeyes and Starbucks. So plenty of parking. I see probably 8 or 9 spots. So you ever wanted to get through New York and don't feel like getting on the Cross Bronx, go this way. This is a pretty good way to go. So here's a little rundown of my time. You gonna work? Yep. So you can see here I did 384 miles, which is pretty good for a day. 400 is what you really want. That's why I was heading for Connecticut, but I'm only an hour away from my drop, so this will work just fine. And here's my graph, so you can see that I did 7 hours 41 minutes of driving. That's great. That's right on cue, and that's basically what you want really to do every day. I guess that's about it for that. I'm still learning on all of this. So kind of a bummer thing happened today. I was trying to get to my delivery, so I was hammered down, and wouldn't you know it, I'd come across a cop, and sure enough, he pulled me over, and he comes up and he says, "You know why I pulled you over?" I said, "Well, probably because I was speeding." He says, "Yeah, you're speeding. You're doing 60 in a 35. He says, "I want your license and registration." I said, "Well, officer, I don't have a license. It was suspended for speeding. And I might as well be honest with you, I have a gun in the glove compartment." So he's getting all nervous. "And I've also got a dead hooker under my bunk, which you'll find if I don't tell you." So he whips my door open, grabs me, puts me in cuffs, marches me down to his car, throws me in the back. Right about then, another cop shows up. And those two guys, you know, they're in there tearing my truck up. And that other cop, he comes back. I see him coming towards me. He opens up the door and he says, you know, I need to understand something. You said to Officer Jones there that you didn't have a driver's license, but we found it on the dashboard. And I says, yup. And he says, and there was no gun in the glove compartment. It was empty. And then we looked under your bunk and there's no dead body under that. Can you explain that? So I said to him, yeah, he probably told you I was speeding too. So that's it for today. Just another day in paradise. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Wasn't very much of an eventful day today. It was pretty easy, but whatever. They'll get harder, trust me. Another day in paradise. See you tomorrow.